r/ProRevenge.
Party every night for a year? Okay. So I was told this story might fit here. TLDR at the bottom. Sorry for poor formatting or grammar. I went to school in California in the 90s. I bought a house 4 years ago in a quiet neighborhood. I had wanted to get into that neighborhood for years. My best friend lives there. It was a couple blocks from my kids' school. It was a good neighborhood. Then COVID hit. My neighbors across the street were forced to move at the beginning of the pandemic before the eviction moratorium was in place. They were really good neighbors. We were friendly with each other and we were sad to see them go. So when the property owner rented to a new family, we were hoping we could cultivate a friendly relationship. Unfortunately, that was not the case. About a month after they moved in, the lockdown started. And that's when things went from 0 to 100 real quick. For the next year, every night there was a huge party. Cars down the street, music so loud you could hear it over regular house noise in every room in my house. My friend in the next cul-de-sac would text me regularly if the music he was hearing was my neighbor's. We tried to be civil. I asked politely. I brought them beer, I offered some killer 420. Eventually they threatened me and my wife, so we started calling the police. Almost every night for 4 months. We organized with the neighbors. And they started calling the police as well. Eventually the others gave up and started selling their houses because the renters were just that bad. We were still upside down on our place, so it wasn't an option for us. Eventually the police told me that I needed to stop calling and that it wasn't their issue to deal with. That I was a bigger nuisance than the renters' music. It was at that time the housing market was taking off. Houses were selling in my area for 40-50K over appraisal value. My wife and I looked at what we needed to make so we could move and listed our home for that. In 3 days we had a handful of obscene offers to choose one. But it was the lowest offer that stood out to us the most. Their offer was a good 20K under the next lowest, but they sent a letter. I'm a sucker for a letter, especially one with a picture of a young pregnant couple and a dog. And a patrol car? Turns out the young man is a police officer newly appointed at the local PD. And he takes his patrol car home. I knew at that point that this was the family to sell my house to, money be damned. I moved out as the neighbors were throwing a huge party. The next day the police moved in and they haven't had another since. I drive by regularly on my way to my buddy's place. They just sit quietly in their garage looking bored. I make sure I honk and wave every time. Answer. After a year of listening to my neighbors partying all hours of the night and pointing their speakers at my house and no help from the local law enforcement, I sold my house to a cop.
A response to the post.
One way to stop obnoxious parties is to get your hands on some liquid ass, sneak by and spray their yard with it. They won't be sticking around for long with the rotten diarrhea stench it leaves behind. This adds new meaning to the phrase party pooper.
A response to this comment.
This, oh, the places the neighbors will go when their house smells like shit.
A response to the post.
I love this. Sports metal, sports metal, sports metal. Also, thank you for selling at a reasonable price. As someone trying to one day own my own property one day, the futility is real.
A response to this comment.
The pro part was taking the $20,000 hit to get the right buyer.
A response to the post.
So, the cops, unable to do anything about your situation, have one of their own get a good deal on the house, and then the parties stop. Cops are the real pros here. Let's do nothing about this and get some sweet real estate for Jimmy and his wife. But hey, if you're happy, up, congratulations.
A response to the post.
I wouldn't kiss off 20K like that, but if you feel you got your money's worth, good on you.
Oh, peace response to this comment.
We got plenty. The market's insane. And honestly, I met the folks in the old place. They are super nice folks who couldn't catch a break with all the investors snatching up land and houses.